Chapter 4. Double your money back. Guaranteed. Well, another day is come and gone. The sun is spun in its place while the earth rotated in hers. Everything that's alive on this planet has done either one of two things. They've either grown a little or they've died. Nothing in between. No almost grew, no almost died. Which of these applies to you? As for me, I'll withhold my decision till the final vote comes in. Maybe I'll see a little bit more clearly after I've shaken the dust of the morning out of the cobwebs of my brain, but for now I'll just sit here and write. It helps me to see me a little bit better anyway. I went to Bible class this morning. They called it seminary. Here, me, a 41-year-old man with a room full of teenagers trying to get some meaning out of the biblical references to the 7 seals. I sat and I listened, and I watched the people around me, I almost called them kids, as they showed me their selves. There was one girl who couldn't sit still. She shared with me her desire to go. One who sat absolutely silent. She, her serenity. One other, a young man, watched the teacher closely as she talked about the 7 eras of the earth. I liked him. He cared about what was happening around him and appeared to gain a great deal from the words and insights that were shared. There were those that talked to each other and those that talked to the class. There were those that watched or took notes, those that laughed, and those that cried. I was one that cried. You see, I sat and listened to the forecasts of doom, and in my mind's eye saw the children of the Holocaust crying in the night for their mothers. I saw the world as it is and was, a place badly in need of love, and me having so little love to give in comparison to its needs. At that point, for one brief moment, I felt so useless. Then I remembered that I am not alone here. I am not the only one who wants to live a happier life while I'm living on this planet. There are millions more just like me, just waiting for some kind of sign to come out and let their voices be heard. They're just waiting to cry from the mountaintops their love for life and to share with the world their joy. Have you ever seen one of these people just walking by you? Sure you have, and you remember them. You remember them quite well, in fact, more for the feeling they left you with than anything else, but you remember. You remember them well, for it was as they passed that you lifted your eyes. Your smile brightened, and you felt something, I don't know, would you call it special? Even now, long after the moment, here they are again. Kind of like the grandma you hated as a kid, but now really, really love. They're always there for you when you need them. That feeling never leaves you either, and that's the point that I'm making. Now you carry them with you and the feeling that came with them. Have you ever shared a bit of wisdom with your children or with a friend, only to remember that you picked it up from someone else when you thought you weren't listening? Sure you have, and it felt good. Kind of humbling, I know, but there was something kind and respectful of their gift to you when you recalled the source. They left you a lasting smile, one which you shared. Now, just how long you carry it was determined before you came to this place in the numbering of your days. God decided that, not you. The value you get from it, however, is yours to control once you realize how to use it. That's right. I said use it. Like a tool, you can take this thing or that thing that you've gleaned from the passers-by in your life and use it. For good or for ill, you can use it. Not to change the subject here, but how do you get rich? Now I'm talking about money here. How do you get to be filthy, stinking rich? Do you think that rich people get that way or stay that way by putting their money into a bank and letting the bank pay them for the privilege of holding on to it for them? Get real. Of course they don't. They take their money, use the bank to secure the funds, and put the rest to work. That's how you get rich. You take some of your assets and plant a garden with it. You allow your money then to become seeds, growing as other people feed it with their work. Try this exercise in your mind. Just close your eyes for a minute and imagine that you've been able to save a little bit of cash. I know it may be a stretch for some, but just think it for now. You've got the equivalent of 6 months' salary sitting in a coffee can under the bed, and inflation is already eating it away. It's worth 10% less today than a year ago. If you've kept it in the bank, it grew by 5, but you still lost 10. What have you got? It's called the law of diminishing returns. Now, let's say you know a kid on the block who's got a gift. He's a hard worker and came over to your house every week last summer to work in your yard for a few bucks a whack. What if you went to him and offered him a deal? You get a used lawnmower, $25 at a yard sale, and you offer to let him use your tools to do a few more yards in the neighborhood. He, of course, pays you rent on the tools based on the amount of return he gets and does your yard in exchange. What happens next? Well, you just stew on that for a while because you know good and well what will happen next if you've handled your money wisely. Maybe you'll be responsible for the next J. Paul Getty. At the very least, you'll have made a return on your investment and saved some of what you would have paid him for anyway. Maybe your daughter or your mother or somebody else you know needs a word of advice. They need a little wisdom to lift their spirits and help them make today just a little brighter. What are you going to get from that? It's not hard to see that kid down the block struggling and sweating over yard work getting ahead. He's going to get paid cold, hard cash for his work. What about you? What about the words you share with the people you come into contact with? What about them? Here again, let's look at the value of what you share. Like the good book says, give and ye shall receive. Okie dokie. Well, what good could you possibly get from telling a stranger, tomorrow's going to be a brighter day? Come on now, don't be juvenile. Apply it to yourself. How does it feel to you right now just thinking about the opportunity? Good, isn't it? Not good like you just had a decent meal, but good like awesome. You lifted the spirits of another soul who'll go out and give what they've received to everybody else they meet. That is, until they get beat up by life and have to come back for another dose. How many people do you think you can touch like that? They are without number, for they are as plentiful as the sand on the beach, innumerable, but each lying in its own path until moved by a force outside itself. That force will be you. The only question is, which way will you move them? It is my belief that you'll move them most assuredly toward the lighter end of the spectrum. This more guaranteed by the abiding knowledge that you will have an effect on them, and you are the only one who can decide which type of effect it will be. As your circle of influence grows, it grows lighter or darker according to the energy you share. Your bank grows fuller for the sharing of your wealth and thinner for its hoarding. So what do you want out of life? Money or more life? Well, if you want to, you can set this book down right now and walk away. That won't hurt a bit. But what if you read a little bit more? After all, it's your money, your time, and your life. Decide what you want and go for it. Once you do, you'll be guaranteed a harvest beyond your wildest dreams. Double your money back. Guaranteed. Spirit sharing. I sat down this morning giving thanks and praying for understanding, when my truth spoke out to me, confidently saying we must first seek out the children that have the light, and feed them that we might grow in purity. And upon consideration of the people I have found, bright, shining, and remembering the feelings as we shared, I knew that we both had grown in passing. Now I share this light with all. Any spirit sowing light, I seek, and we grow. Hi everybody, my name is Ron Hatton and I am the author of A Book of Life. Now, since day one when I finished making the book, I studied about bookbinding techniques. It was always too expensive for me to have a publisher do it for me. So what I did was decided to make my own, and the result is this. Now, this is a hand-bound copy, ribbon, paper, all of that folded by hand. And if you should like to have a copy of this for yourself or for someone you love, then all you have to do is email me at gadgetman@gadgetmangroove.com. Just watch the slide. The email address is coming. God bless y'all richly and warmly, and as always, remember to smile for a stranger today. You will both be glad you did. Bye-bye.